Young and restless casualty Linden Ashby sounds off about the soap producer who did a lot of damage to a lot of people. Welcome to USA 24, my dream channel. Nobody can dispute the fact that despite how brief Cameron's second stint on The Young and the Restless may have been, he left a huge impression on the screen. And for Sharon, it might have far-reaching consequences. But now that Cameron is undeniably dead, Linden Ashby has returned to the sudser, for the time being at least. There's always a question mark when it comes to these kinds of things, but when Ashby briefly discussed the experience on the podcast of Soap Opera Digest, he acknowledged that the return was so amazing that the possibility of a third round hasn't completely vanished. The actress admitted, "I'm kind of sorry it's done, but you never know. The future." When I was done, executive producer and head writer Josh Griffith wrote me a really sweet note, and I did the same for him. That certainly sounds like there is a possibility that Cameron might reappear. He wouldn't be the first resident of Genoa City to cheat death, and because bringing him back was so much fun for Griffith and Ashby, there's always room for more. Thank you. Please subscribe to my channel. But Ashby has been a fixture in the soap opera industry for years, ever since he landed his first job on Loving in 1985 as Curtis Alden. However, the actor told Digest that the journey wasn't quite as smooth back then. And while there was nothing but complimentary about his co-stars, including John O'Hurley and Nell Beck, he was unambiguous about the reason for his departure. "I got fired." He clarified, "It was a terrific place to be, and I adored Augusta Dabney, Jane Powell, Celeste Holm, Wesley Addy, and all of the elderly performers who were there because we were so fortunate to have them. It was the place you began. People departed, but there were other people who stayed and had successful jobs." However, the program also had a rather horrible element, and Ashby wasn't shy about discussing his disagreements with the late Joseph Stewart, the program's original executive producer. When Luke Perry joined the program, a year after Ashby was let off, Joe Stewart told him, "I was a cautionary tale that Joe Stewart relayed to Luke when Luke was acting up." There was this other actor who was incredibly brilliant, but had a terrible attitude, he said. Ashby chose not to argue against that. "I did have a bad attitude," he said, "but he wasn't a good guy, was he?" Joe Stewart injured a great number of individuals. God grant him peace, correct? Conflict arose between the actor and producer, and Stewart wasn't pleased with Ashby and Susan Walters, Diane, when they got married in 1986. They were portraying Curtis and Lorna, cousins, at the time on the program. He was violent, Ashby merely stated. He had severe problems. He had issues. It is not enjoyable to work with him. I would only press his buttons. "Come on, throw a punch," sort of thing. He didn't react well, and he still didn't act properly after Susan and I got married. Joe Stewart was not a good man, in any case. However, it is obvious that Ashby's career did not suffer as a result of his dismissal, because it didn't take him long to achieve success in daytime, primetime, and film. Additionally, it has given us two incredible stints as Cameron on Young and Restless thus far. The actor wasn't fired, unlike his initial daytime performance, so hopefully there's still time for one more spooky encore.